Welcome back to the podcast. Today's going to be a slightly different kind of episode than you're used to. I've looked at some books that I've read or listened to in the past and looked at what I learned from them and taken like one particular lesson from them. So it's a bit of a random episode, but I talk a lot about books influencing me. It was quite a nice process going through and looking at books that I hadn't read for a very long time and reflecting on, well, what did I learn about that thing, and has that changed how I've shown up in the world? And it's quite like interesting and remarkable because I do think that those things can have a huge effect on you as a person. And we talk about neural plasticity of the nervous system and stuff and how it changes and how you can change into like a different person. And I find it very fascinating. So I'm going to run through. I've got 12 and see what you think. We'll get straight into it. I won't fuck about here. So the first one is the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. This was like... This book was like a groundbreaker in the kind of productivity bro sphere when it was released. I think it was like 2006 or something. But when I came to it, I think it had already been out for maybe 10 years. And it was just right at the I can't even remember how I came across it. I remember like searching for something to do with working remotely or something along that. And if you've seen the artwork, it's a 4-hour work week, and there's like a palm, like a hammock between palm trees and a guy in a laptop. And the actual title is a little bit of a clickbait scammy thing because it's not really about living on a beach and working 4 hours a week. It's basically around you could do that, I suppose, but it's mainly around eliminating bullshit from your systems and life and work and focusing on what's most important and the highest leverage thing. It also goes into some like actual tools and practices and tactics, but some of those are probably a little bit dated now. It'd be, things like validating a product idea by running Google ads to a landing page and then saying they're sold out and stuff, which you could probably still do. But there is, and then, the tools at the time, obviously it has nothing in it to do with AI, so it's a little bit outdated in that, but the actual concepts are really interesting. And I think, so that's, that's that about that book. But what I wanted to do is, what was the key thing that I remember that really stuck in my head? And I'll tell you this. It was a quote from the book where he said, a person's, this probably isn't exact, so don't take it, but a person's success in life can be directly determined by the number of uncomfortable conversations he or she is willing to have. I remember this, and I was going through somewhat of a transitional time. I had lots of them. And I remember I was living in this old flat on my own. I just had a breakup, and I wrote it on a whiteboard. It's funny now, actually, because I literally have this massive whiteboard in my living room downstairs, which I kind of make fun of myself about all the time. But everyone that comes around, it's like, that's fucking awesome. I wish I had a massive whiteboard. But yeah, and I remember having this in my kitchen, and I wrote it down. And I think what was the context was, I think I was leaving a job that I'd been there for like 7 years, and I was terrified. I think that was it. It was something around that. And I was so scared that Yeah, it's just horrible, isn't it? Having uncomfortable conversations, and it's just a really good one. So, what was it again? Uh, the number of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have, it can determine your success. And it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Like, how many things, how many awesome things are at the other side of an uncomfortable conversation, whether that be in a relationship with a parent or a friend, or more probably the biggest one would be within work, because loads of people just get walked over, don't they? And like, in the work environment, if you can become better at having uncomfortable conversations, you're going to be much better at kind of rising up through the rankings. Sorry, I've been doing a High Rocks podcast. Right, rising up through the ranks. That's it. And yeah, and just being able to get what you want from life. So yeah, good book. I would recommend you check it out. There are other things in there, like 80-20 principle, which I'll probably talk about a lot. How could, if you look at a thing, let's say it's friendships, what 20% of friendships are giving 80% of my joy, and what hold on, what 20% of friendships are giving 80% of my headaches or toxicity or something like that. And then you could look at it in business. What 20% of customers are responsible for 80% of my revenue, and what 80% of customers are responsible for 20% of my headaches and pain in the ass conversations and stuff like that. But you can apply that to just so many different areas in life. I realize I've given you like 2 from that now, but I just wanted to give you, because that quote's a bit random. But I thought I'd give you something practical as well. Next up is Vagabonding by Rolf Potts, which is basically like a book about traveling, and it's really good. I think as well, I might have even, those 2 books might have been related. Someone did the foreword for the other one or whatever. I think Tim Ferriss might have done the foreword for this. And it's how, firstly, like, traveling isn't about like having loads of money and be able to go to go on to travel. You don't need lots of money to travel. You just need to not want lots of like fancy things. If you're willing to be able to just slum it and go and work somewhere and then hitchhike somewhere and then work somewhere else or whatever, like travel, you don't actually have to have money. So that's one of the things. I wouldn't say that was massively like applicable to my situation, but that's kind of like the big concept. But the one thing I remember was it talking about how, and this is related with the money versus like experience kind of dynamic, and people make the trip, not the place. I don't think he says it like that, but this is just how I remember it. So whenever if you think about a holiday you went on, or if you went traveling or whatever, and think about what are the actual memories that you have, I would imagine it's not when you went to the tourist place. It's not when you went to see the thing that's been on the all the postcards or whatever. Because usually when you get there, it's like horrendous. There's like it's mega touristy. There's never like no one there. Like think of like the Taj Mahal and like the Princess Diana picture or whatever. It's never like that. It's absolutely, it'll be, I've never been, but it'll be absolutely heaving. I'm sure it's beautiful, but when you get there, like it's not going to be like you imagined it to be. So it's always a letdown. This comes into like dopamine, like our expectations on this thing, because we've seen this in so many other things. We've seen it on movies and all these, and then you've always wanted to go there. Like, yeah, it's always a bit of a letdown. So, but people are what make trips amazing. And I think there's actually a line in it where he says like you'll remember the dancing with some Russian grandma or something like that over going to the Taj Mahal or something like that. And it's so true. And I went on a stag do recently to Prague. Not really my kind of thing. I don't drink, so it wasn't a great trip anyways. But what was interesting was we ended up on the last day we were watching the cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle, and I was looking for somewhere to watch the game that was close to the airport because we had to leave like close to the time to catch the flight. So I just found this like random sports bar that was in the like near some like suburbs or whatever, just proper random place. Got an Uber to there, and it was like they say like Star Wars bar. It wasn't really like that. It was just there was no one in there other than like the girl that ran the place and her mates, and they were just like so fascinated that we were there because tourists don't normally come, and it was just dead interesting and a great example of where like the people like getting off the beaten track and like speaking to the people or whatever, and it was just great. So a reminder of like if you're going somewhere, just remember that it's about the connections. It could be about the connections with the people that you're already going with, but usually it's about like speaking to some random person that's working there that knows the place. That will change how you see places or whatever. So yeah, if you're thinking about traveling as well, good book. Right, number 3 is from the cringe-worthiest book name ever, How to Win Friends and Influence People by, what was he called? Is it Dale Carnegie? I think so. Yeah, Dale Carnegie. Yeah. So I got this ages ago because it was like the sort of thing that high performers read. Now look at like influence people. It sounds a little bit like weird, doesn't it? But high performers were reading it, so I wanted to check what it was like. And the main thing I got from it, and I've tried my best here, like not to like look at my notes that from books, just like what came up. And the biggest one I remember was to learn to see things from others' point of view. I think he even says like being there, learn to how to step into their shoes or something like that. And that was a long time ago I read that book, and I think that's something that I do quite well. So I think it must have, I'm sure I got it from that book. And it's just in so many, certainly in when you're in like business marketing, like if you can like reverse engineer an experience to the customer experience, or how another person is seeing a thing, or how your friend feels about a thing, it's just learning to be able to take a step back, but not even take a step back and take 1,000-foot view. It's like another point of view. Learning to be able to take that point of view is going to be really effective. By the way, I would recommend just checking out these books because it's going to be better than my completely rehashed, random spattering of crap. Spattering of crap. Wow. So yeah, that was good. And I think it's a good thing to remember to do and I should do it more actually. Like not just in work stuff, but like family and friends. Do I do that enough? I probably don't. So yeah, one to remember. Fourth one is I don't think I was meant to do that last one, so I think we're going to end up with more than I had loads of notes here, and then I've scribbled some out and then kept some. Right, the Chimp Paradox by is it Professor Stephen Peters? Great book. He was the guy that did the all the sports psychology for like England football in those days, where it was like Gerrard and Lampard and what did they call them? The Golden Boys or something. What did they call them? The Golden Generation. Yeah, the Golden Boys. I prefer that. And so he wrote this book called Chimp Paradox. It's very popular. You probably heard it or read it. And it basically has this theoretical framework, I guess you would call it, about having the human brain, which is kind of in reference to your like prefrontal cortex, all that kind of stuff up here, and then the chimp brain, which is like the emotional center, amygdala, fear, all that kind of thing, and then the computer, which is the one another one somewhere in your brain, and the computer is basically like the autopilot. So yeah, autopilot, which we all know, like doing habits, doing things without actually having driving is a good example of that, obviously, because you can talk on the phone and talk to someone next to you while you're driving. Most people can. But I think what I learned from it is that sometimes our like instinctive reactions to like fly off the handle, get angry at something, snap at someone, which I would I do a lot less. I don't even really think I ever do that these days. Lots of meditation and not drinking, but knowing that there's a reason for like it's like this chimp version of you that's just like kicking off, and it's not the human that necessarily that wants to do that. Like when you stub your toe on the edge of some piece of furniture or whatever, and you go, fucking hell, screaming, like you don't want to do that. Like that's just coming out of you out of a reactivity thing. That's like chimp fear, or if you respond, like if someone says something to you and it triggers an emotional response that for some reason you just fly off the handle. That's the chimp looking to protect you because it's like triggered this fear thing. That's all it's doing. Whereas if we're thinking of it more from the human, like this prefrontal cortex, I keep doing this, tapping my forehead if anyone's just listening. Whereas like the human is like, whoa, it's fine, like don't worry about it, like just calm down, like we've got this under control. Rationality. So the thing I got from it was just like, that's okay. It's like, even if you're at a level where you're like, oh, I felt like I wanted to kick off then, but I didn't, like you're like, that's okay, because it's a normal response to feel that that fear thing, that aggression or whatever. But it's what we do up here with the human that really matters. And yeah, and that's why alcohol is. I always say, I probably heard this in a podcast, so it's not an original. I always say something that I heard someone else say and pass it off at my own. Okay, I'll say that. The alcohol, or maybe it was mine. I actually don't know. Honestly, don't know. But like, if you ever want to see, no, I heard something similar, but then I wrapped it up in my own little thing. If you ever want to see how the brain operates without the prefrontal cortex, without the human, is just tell them to drink like 8 pints of beer, and then you just see all of that that capacity go offline. That's literally the thing as well. Like, as every time you drink a little bit more, your prefrontal cortex just like slowly goes off, starts to turn off, and then you just run by fear and emotion and desire and whatever else the chimp is responsible for. So that's that one. How many have we done here? Right. One was 4 Hour Work Week. Two was Vagabonding. Three was How to Win Friends and Influence People. Four was the Chimp Paradox. Okay. Five. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Fantastic author, blogger, marketer guy. If you are into, like, if you are self-employed or have a business or anything like that, he is the fucking man. He's written so many books. But this is Marketing. You could imagine picking it up and thinking you're going to have all these like tactics, like you want to be doing Google ads and Facebook and stuff like that. That's why I bought it. I'm like, I want to know, just get me the marketing book. This like, so yeah, I was got with that title, wasn't I? Like the 4 Hour Work Week, and he basically is like, there are no hacks, there are no like shortcuts to like, oh yeah, just learn how to do this Facebook ads and you'll know how to market. He's basically, and it's really simple and beautiful, it's just make the best product possible that your customers will love, and that is marketing. Like, that attention to detail. If you, a really good analogy is something like a retail business or a restaurant. So if you imagine, you can have a restaurant that has really good marketing, but when you get there, the food's not very good, and you put a 3-star review on TripAdvisor, whatever, Google reviews, and it's like, yeah, which is better? Was it the marketing that won it, or was it the service? So it's like that word of mouth kind of thing, really, it comes down to. But it's like, if when you got there, you had like this amazing experience and someone like attended to your every need and made sure that you were comfortable and checked that your food was okay and stuff, like, wow, that was a really amazing experience. And that's marketing, because people will, those ideas, your product will then spread because of that. Yeah, and he's also big on like serving, like finding your people, find a small group, community that like love the thing you do. Like, find 100 people like around the globe that like your thing, and then just focus on them. Yeah, great book, and fantastic author. He's done loads of other stuff, and he's on loads of podcasts as well. That was 5. Number 6 is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there are these 7 habits that he goes through, but the one that I do remember is begin with the end in mind. And that's basically, you've probably heard this before, and where you try and think about all your goals and things that you want to achieve in life, but from the perspective that you're like at your own funeral. And I think there's an exercise in it where it's like, what would you want your eulogy to be? What would people say about you? Would they say, he was working all the time and he didn't really see his kids or whatever? Or did he say like he had loads of money, or did he say he was caring, he was attentive, he was a good role model, all that kind of thing, or she? Sorry. So yeah, so that's a good one, and I probably don't. Yeah, I'm pretty good at doing it actually, and I have a Jason's Life in Weeks thing that I tick off every week downstairs, colouring a little thing. As I'm marching to the grave, a little reflection. Like, am I showing up? Am I showing up in the manner that, like, I know that this is going to end, and I'm going to die soon? So, what did I do this last week to make me feel like I'm not wasting my time here? But yeah, thinking of that end thing and then working it back and showing up as that person. What are we on now? Number 7 is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Fantastic book around, it's like the Bible for habits. And the biggest one, what was cool about this book actually is because a lot of the stuff that it explained, I'd already been like playing around with doing anyways, like most of my life, because I've got this, like, I don't know, weird obsessive spreadsheet brain and highly addictive nature to the way I operate in the world. So that highly addictive nature, which obviously can be detrimental, but also can be really good for building habits. That's why I'm very good at building good habits, and also very good at building bad habits. I can do both to a very high level. So, but yeah, habit tracking. Yeah, just having a habit tracker. That was the biggest thing I got from this guy. And that's like the thing where you have the days across the top and then the habit down the end, and you just check off across. If anyone wants a template, like a habit tracking template, let me know. Send me a message, and I will send you mine for free. But yeah, stacking those habits, putting them in a list, which allows you to go, okay, what's next? Like I would have like them in like different blocks. So I'd have like the morning, lunch, and evening. I don't do it all the time. It's a really good thing if you're like falling off the wagon, like with anything. And you're just like kind of a little bit all over sport. Okay, right, who's the person I want to be? What does that type of person do? So let's go back to the funeral thing, right? What was that? What do I want my eulogy to be? It could be I don't have kids, but he spent time with his kids. Okay, so we work that back and we go, okay, habit, spend time with kids. What's the habit going to be? And then he's big on like it has to be done in under 1 minute, ideally. So what's the 1 minute activity so that you can just like minimum cross it off? So then that could be obviously spending time with kids. You do want to spend more than 1 minute with your kids. So therefore you work it back again and you go, what's one thing I could do is spend 1 minute working out at what point in the day I'm going to spend a decent block of time with my kids or something like that. I'm just making it up. So yeah, very helpful. Good book. That's it. Next one. Number 8. These aren't in order of anything, by the way. It's just how I've written them down with my like crazy handwriting. I just held the book up, my notebook up, if anyone was listening. Next one is Getting Things Done. Getting Things Done. Is it Stephen Allen? Joe Allen? John Allen? Getting Things Done. David Allen. David Allen. My great granddad was called David Allen. Yeah. So, getting things done, or aka GTD, golf. Tango Delta, or getting things done. Basic, a lot of these are like foundational, like the early versions of like what have then developed into other things, like the groundbreaking versions. And getting things done was, I think the thing I got most from it was that I remember him saying once, it's like any project is achievable, and a project. So just if anyone isn't sure what, like, I didn't know what the project was when I remember. A project is just a collection of tasks. So a task is a task, but if you need to do 3 tasks to do the thing is a project. Like, a project doesn't need to be like a massive big thing, just a collection of tasks. And I remember him saying just like any project is achievable. It's just broken down into a number of tasks. You can just pick anything and just go, okay, what are the tasks attribute to it? Which is kind of cool. Like, to think that like you can, like, in a way, do anything if you want. You've just got to like figure out what are the steps. Like get all those mini steps. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I remember getting from it. Just like projects could be, lots of things can be projects. Like, maintaining a good relationship with my friends, that's a project, an ongoing project that needs constant work. What's the next action in this project? Reply to Tom, because he texted me earlier on today, and I've loads of people text me today, and I haven't texted back because I've been busy doing podcast stuff. But there we go. So yeah, I need to get onto that. That's that one. What's next? Number, getting things done. What was that? That was 8, wasn't it? 6. Yeah, that was 8. Okay, number 9 is the Wim Hof Method. Obviously, loads of you will know who Wim Hof is. This like crazy Dutch guy. He's not actually crazy. That does all the cold water and breathing stuff. And yeah, I was massively into the cold water and all that sort of stuff a few years back. And interestingly, has been it like raised its head yesterday. So I've been struggling with sleep for quite a while, and basically I've been waking up a lot with heart palpitations. This has been an ongoing thing. So I've like changed where I was sleeping. I've done this. I've stopped having caffeine after a certain point. I've stopped taking all my supplements. I've started taking the supplements again. I've started taking more sleep supplements. I've started not having a high heart rate workout close to bedtime. And I'm still struggling to actually figure out what it is. Probably what it is just me and my whatever, like, hidden anxiety. I used to have night terrors, so where I'd wake up screaming, throwing myself across the room, very scary and not very nice. I don't have them anymore, really, which is cool. But right now, I'm getting this like heart pain kind of thing going on, which I know is some form of mental thing. So going into my fucking issues. Yesterday was one of these days where I'd done everything. Like I've made sure, like as much as I love coffee, I didn't have it after 12 o'clock. I did all the things. Fell asleep. Woke up 30 minutes later, just like this like horrible feeling. And the night before, I'd ended up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had an awful day the following day because I was so tired. So I was like, what could I do to just like change my state of mind? Like meditation is a little bit, like I've tried that as well. Like I've done that. I do yoga nidra quite a lot, but like yoga nidra is even not as effective. I needed like a sharper tool to be able to do it. And so I was like, I'll do some Wim Hof breathing. Like, so basically, well, yeah, you can find if you go on YouTube and just type in Wim Hof guided breathing. Don't do it now, or you can buy the book. And it's basically just like it's basically like hyperventilating and then holding your breath. But it does just like put you in this like weird, nice state. Your body goes all like tingly. And I did that last night, and it's quite like wakes you up, but it's a nervous system kind of reset thing. Did that last night, fell straight asleep, didn't wake up until the morning, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's powerful. So I used it earlier as well. I had High Rocks world champion Alexander Ronchevich on the podcast earlier on today, and I sometimes get like a little bit nervous. Like that's a big deal, right? Like you wouldn't be human if you didn't get a bit nervous. And so I noticed this, and I just made sure I was prepped nice and early, so that I had some time to either do some meditation, and then I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to do some Wim Hof breathing. So I did some Wim Hof breathing, and it was great. Just put me in a really nice state of mind. So yeah, cool thing to learn how to do, and nice tools to have in your bag. Up your sleeve. It only takes like 10 minutes. Number 10 is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Fantastic. One of the first like really popularized books around sleep and the science and stuff. And many of you, I'm sure, have read it. The biggest one I got from it, it's funny now, we're talking about fucking how I can't sleep, and I'm just like, hey, listen to me talk about the sleeping book. But definitely, see, this feels really contradicting me talking about advice or the stuff I've learned about sleep when I'm struggling to do it at the moment. But the best one I've definitely implemented when my sleep was really good was just consistent wake time. Ideally consistent sleep time, but consistent wake time is the most impactful thing. Why? So if you imagine your body is a prediction machine, that's all it's trying to do. It's trying to figure out what's next. And this is most prevalent in sleep. When you go to sleep, your body is thinking, right. Imagine I don't know, you're on your way to a destination, you're on the train, and the train's going to take 6 hours, and you've got a project to do while you're on the train. I'm just thinking of this analogy now. And okay, you got 6 hours, right? We've got 6 minutes. We'll draft this out. We'll work out this, and that. We've got 6 hours. So imagine that's like your brain and your body trying to fix and repair all the things that you've got. Now, imagine the train takes 5 hours instead of 6. What's going to happen is you're going to be like, I thought you said it was 6 hours. It's fucking hell. We've got all this other stuff to do. We've not done this. And that's what's happening with your body when you wake up an hour before you were, that your body was expecting you to. So, like if you have to get up early, just randomly for work, or you're going away on holiday, that's horrible because you're cutting off a sleep stage in the middle of when the work's been done. So everything's, yeah. So whereas if we look at it from another point of view, the train rolls in at 6 hours on time. we've done all our stuff, and then when it arrives, the project is finished, and then they wake up fresh. Weird analogy. And yeah, so that's why by waking up at the same time every day, that's the one thing you don't want to mess around with. Whereas if you get on the train later at night, but you know it's going to get there at a certain time, or it's going to be like, let's say you went to bed 3 hours later. In that instance, that'd be like getting on the train like 3 hours. This analogy's gone to shit. But basically, your body body would at least know, oh, he normally gets up at like 6 o'clock and he's gone to bed at 3 in the morning. We've got 3 hours to like get shit done. So even though you'll still probably feel like shit, it's still better than messing around and sleeping in and completely throwing your sleep schedule out of whack. Having said that, I do think you've got to be careful with that. Sometimes, as long as you don't do it all the time, this is what I found has worked for me, is I will, if I'm feeling really fatigued and I haven't caught up or whatever, like I do lots of naps. This is why I'm able to function without great sleep at the moment, is just have a lie-in, like a really long lie-in. I just won't set an alarm and I'll just see when I get up. Especially good if you're feeling like under weather. I felt like I was getting ill the other week. Loads of people around me were ill. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep in. I'm just going to see what time I wake up. Hopefully I won't sleep in for work. That's a good thing of getting up so early to do the morning routines. And I woke up, it was like 2.5 hours after I normally would. It was like 8:30. I was working from home, start work at 9 o'clock. So I was able to get up, quick coffee, get showered, and then get to work. Didn't get ill. And I was certain that I was getting ill. So I think it's really useful. So yeah, get up at the same time as often as possible. But if you really need to, just have a sleep. But the rest of the time, keep it the same. But it's like your body knows. It's not stupid. If you have like a random sleep in, it kind of like, I feel like it will know that it's not to throw itself out, provided that you're doing it 6 other days of the week, you're still getting up at that same time. Whereas if you're doing it all over the spot, it's just confused. So yeah, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Number 11 is Stillness Is The Key by Ryan Holiday. All of Ryan Holiday's books are great. I mean, some better than others. But another one of my favorites, Ego is the Enemy and Discipline is Destiny, is are other great books. But Stillness Is The Key. I always remember, I think this is where I really started to understand the importance of walking to get a perspective on like ideas and problems that you have in your life. So it's by just having stillness in your life, whether that be meditation, whether that be washing the pots without having a podcast or music on, or just having stillness, silence. Going out for a walk, that's stillness. Going out for a walk with headphones, that's not stillness. And just being able to allow those thoughts to come up, allow like this kind of like low arousal state to just kind of allow you to think things through and whatever. But yeah, loads of other cool stuff in that book. I just remember that bit. And last one, number 12, is another Ryan Holiday book, is Obstacle Is the Way. Amazing, especially if you're going through like a tough time, you've got an issue, like an obstacle to overcome. And it's basically that the rather than looking at something that's happened to us in life or a thing that we're trying to get through, like an obstacle, like a rock in the path, a boulder in the path, is the sort of metaphor, visual metaphor. You know, we try to go around the thing, but what we what is apparent through this book is that the obstacle becomes the way. That the obstacle is the journey. Like, you need to find your way through it, and not like it. You will come out of it a better person for having done that. Like, it is part of your path. It is part of your journey. So don't skirt around it. Go through it. Like, solve it. And then at the end of it, you will have a unique perspective and a richness that no one else can have. So, yeah, a great book. And I've not listened to it in a while. Might listen to it again at some point. I've not got any major obstacles in my life, I don't think. Well, yeah, when I start thinking about it, maybe I do. But yeah, but that's kind of ingrained in me, like that. Just okay, obstacle. That is the thing to solve. Just thank you for listening and watching. I hope this was okay and you got some benefit from it. I was supposed to be publishing something else, but the company I used to record my podcast had a issue with the recording that was supposed to be going out today, and it is totally outside of my control to be able to fix it. So I had to cobble together something last minute to talk about, because I don't have a backlog of podcast episodes at the moment. Life is very busy with lots of things, and trying to get lots of episodes in the bank is difficult. It's really difficult. But I'm hoping to have more. I've got a lot more guests coming on soon, so I'll start to build that back up again. And yeah, I will probably put links to these in the show notes. Actually, no, fuck it. Find it yourself. I'll put some stuff in the show notes, so you can reference them. I'll maybe list them or whatever. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you're having a great Easter break, those of you who celebrate it and whatnot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, that's it. Just thought I'd make it awkward before I actually said bye. Bye.